In the first video in this series, we covered what to wear on your hike and also the things that you need to do before the hike to make sure that you're ready for the hike. In this video, we're going to go through everybody's favorite, what's in my bag. We're going to cover what I carry with me in my serious day hiking backpack. This is not my 2-mile out and back on a well-groomed trail with a few friends and lots of other people. This is not that bag. This bag is, I'm up in the high country. I am going to be hiking all day long. I'm doing a more technical hike. I'm going to be away from creature comforts and emergency services and other people. Please get me away from other people. That's this hike. This is a 20-pound bag right now. I am working on lowering the weight on that because that's too much. That's too much weight. I want to get this down a little bit more, but the ultralight gear is pretty expensive. And there's always a trade-off that you're going to do of having the things that you are most likely going to need, but not carrying too much fluff stuff that you probably will never need. And there's always this balance. And there's always, you take a couple of luxury items that you're willing to sacrifice the weight or the bulk on because it makes your hike more comfortable. But that can't be all the items. You know, you need to be discerning about what you're carrying with you, because I'll tell you, at mile 1, it isn't that heavy, but by the time you get to mile 5, 6, then your heavy starts to become really heavy. And the worst thing is to get high up into the mountains. You're only halfway through your hike and you're exhausted and you feel like you can't go on. You're taking too many breaks. It makes your hike longer and it puts you and everybody else in danger because someone has to rescue you or the people that you're with have to put up with you. So super hard trade-off. So we're going to go through my big bag first and the things that are in here, and I may make some decisions while I'm doing that. And then I'm going to go through a couple of shorter, less technical options, like what would I take from here to put in those bags and take on shorter, not as serious hikes. Okay, so that's the game plan. So the first thing is, I do not like to have anything in my hands. I don't want to have a lot of things in my hands. I have started to get into taking some trekking poles, however. Now they do have little handles on them so that your hands can be free if they need to be. These are actually, the older I get, the more important it is for me to have these. It helps with balance, it helps with stability, it helps with your endurance. They can be really helpful. They can, if you're crossing a stream, you can judge distances. It can give you the structure that you need, especially if you have a heavier pack, or if you're not as familiar with the pack and the gear that you're taking. This can make up the difference and give you some equilibrium, and just there's lots of good reasons to have them. These are not the lightest poles in the world, but they're not too bad. They are telescoping poles, which makes them really helpful, and they do have the little ice pick things on the bottom for if you're in snowier, icier terrain. And these, I actually got these with my snowshoe kit, so I already had them, so I'm going to use those. There's definitely lighter weight options, but trekking poles. So that's pretty much the only thing that I'm going to have in my hands. I'm going to have my bear spray on my bag or on my waistband. So that's going to be quick access. I do hike in bear country, and honestly, there's bears all over, particularly the northern parts of North America. Black bears are everywhere. Black bears aren't always black, by the way. Brown bears are a type of black bear too. Not grizzly bears. I'm not in grizzly bear country, thank goodness, but you know, I could hike in grizzly bear country. Bear spray is almost a must. You should have it with you no matter what. And there's practice bear spray cans, because you need to know how to use this. You know, if you're out there like a fire extinguisher, you can't be reading the directions when when a bear's charging you. You need to know how to use these. So I'm going to get a couple of practice ones and just practice with them every once in a while, because I'll tell you, it's the kind of thing that if you don't use it, you can forget it, the particulars of it. I'm probably going to add it to my routine to beginning of every hiking season, go watch a video or two to refresh on how to use bear spray. But you should always have it handy, and especially I'm in bear country, so I'm always going to have that on my person, quick access. I also have a bear bell, insert dinner bell joke. My friend told me that they found bear bells in bears' bellies. Still, it's not, I don't want to startle an animal, a bear or otherwise. We have cougars in the area that I'm in, my area, mountain lions. We have moose, and there's just a lot of animals that you don't want to startle, and people that you don't want to startle. So a bell can be a good thing. This one's magnetic so that I can unhook it and it's not always jingling, but just if I get into bear country, I want to have something that alerts to not startle the bears. You can also call out, hey bear, as you're going along the trail, which is not a bad idea. Just don't startle a bear if you can help it. I also have on here, I have a light, quick access light. This is a magnetic Olight, and I love these lights. I have these everywhere. I love a good Olight. Nice, strong, it's rechargeable, and it's always here where I can access it really quickly. Lots of reasons to need a light, even if you're not hiking in the dark. It's important to have a light with you for lots of reasons. So I always keep a light on the outside here, quick access. I have my tripod for my phone on here. If I get up high and I want to stop and set up a shot and do a quick film while I'm on there. This is a lightweight telescoping, super convenient, and I'll have it lashed onto the outside of my pack here. Next thing, working my way around, I have a sit pad. Seems like a silly thing. This is not a silly thing. This is game changing. So if you stopped for a break and you need to sit down, you don't want to sit on the ground, you don't want to sit on a cold hard rock. This is small and lightweight and cheap, and just it doesn't cost you. You can lash it onto the outside of your pack. There's not a lot of downsides to having a sit pad. You can also set it down to put your pack on it. Just love, 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 love having a sit pad. Also, going around here, the next thing I have is let me spin this around so you can see my water bottle setup. So this pack is interesting. It has the side pockets, but they're really hard to get things in and out of. So once I get it in here and get my water bottle in here and secured, I don't want to be pulling this in and out. It's just hard. It's just cumbersome. And you can't really do it on the go. So once I get it in here, I have this tube, this straw tube attached to my water bottle. And there is a little magnetic piece right here that you can put anywhere on your bag. I just have to have on my shoulder strap. And this has a bite valve on it, so I can sip on this while I'm hiking and not have to pull this thing out. It just has a little straw that goes back into my water bottle and a little cover on there to keep it from getting dusty and dirty. And then it just hooks right on there, super, super easy. And you can stop and take drinks of water on the trail, but that's actually not as good for your body as sipping all along the way. Much, much better for your hydration, to keep your hydration levels up and keep your body steady energy. The last thing you want is to get dehydrated on the trail and start losing your energy, start getting headaches, and there's just all kinds of problems with that. So you want to make sure that you have enough water and that you're sipping on it. Remember I said that I like to hydrate before I go, so you start the hike with a good amount of water in you, but then you always carry your water and sip on it as you go. The next thing I have here is a whistle. 3 short bursts on your whistle is the way to signal that you are in distress and you need help. It's way better than shouting. You know, shouting, your voice doesn't carry, people don't pay attention to that, but they do pay attention to a whistle. So this is just a cheapy little whistle that's on the outside of here. A lot of gear comes with whistles on them now, so you can check the gear that you already have and see if it has a whistle. Otherwise, this is really super easy and cheap to pick up, and you should have it. I like to have it super accessible in case I need help really quickly. So that's what's on the outside of my pack. I don't like to have a lot of things jiggling and hanging off of my pack, but you want to have what you need. You want to have it close at hand. The other thing that this bag has is it has these pockets on the waist straps. Love, 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 love that. Love having that access. So on this side, I have a little thing of antibacterial handy. And then I have trouble seeing close up, so I have a little pair of readers, collapsible readers in here that I can use to read my maps or just to view things up close. I need to have that because I can't see. Pull those out. And then in the other side, what do I have in the other side here? I have tissues, because tissues for every occasion, especially if you're a person who has allergies, you know, it's nice to have tissues handy. Remember, you do have your bath, but sometimes you just need a tissue for messy cleanup. And then I have some Vaseline. I like to have Vaseline for my lip care. It has multiple uses, but also this doesn't melt. So in extreme temperatures, this is still usable. So I love to have that. Super convenient. All right, I'm going to spin this around. This is a day pack. This is not necessarily a backpacking pack. It does have a hard shell back that gives it some structure. That's always going to add some weight to your pack, but this is a good day pack. It has this elasticized section here in the front that is a super quick access thing that I can get to really quickly, either just by sticking my hand in there or by undoing that latch. So these are things that I need to get to quickly, but also stuff that I get in and out of all the time. And one of those things is my poop kit. My poop kit, as designated by my cute little stretchy poop emoji lanyard. This is nice and convenient because I can throw it over myself if I'm out in the woods and not have to set it down anywhere, which can get it dirtier. It's a poop kit, but dirtier. You know, you want to protect yourself from that. So I'm gonna go through this in a second. The other thing that I have in here is something that I'm actually going to downsize as soon as I can, but it's another one of those things I already had that I just threw in there. This is a camp towel. There's definitely packable, smaller versions of this, but this is just what I had. If I get up into the high country into an alpine lake and I want to take a quick dip, this will let me towel off and get me warm again, get me cleaned up. Love to have that. Now, I'm always going to check before I go if I can swim in the alpine lakes, because you can't swim in all of them, especially around here. A lot of the lakes are watershed lakes. You're not supposed to swim in them. So check the regulations before you go take a dip. Right. So I am going to downsize that because it is pretty bulky. And then the other thing that is in this pack is this pack came with a pack cover, just a little elasticized thing that I can throw around the outside of it if it starts to rain. This is in no means waterproof. It's just a little extra protection for your pack that you can throw on really quickly, and I just keep that in there. So I'm going to set that down. We're going to go through my little poop kit. I don't know why poop kits are fun, but they are. Ask anybody. One of the first things I'm going to talk about here, though, is this is a female personal urination device. This is a little, okay, this is going to look graphic, but so that you don't have to drop your pants, you can do your business a little more comfortably. This is actually really helpful for people who have issues squatting, have trouble squatting, you know, mobility issues. It can also be a safety thing on the trail so that you're not exposed on the trail. So there's a little bit of a weight hit. There's a little bit of a form factor hit for this. It takes a little bit more of a footprint. It does have a little carabiner so you can hang it on the outside and not take up the space and you're jiggling around. But this is a nice convenience thing for a lot of people and can make this more accessible and more enjoyable for a lot of people. This little packet that it comes in is a water resistant thing, so you can keep it clean and keep it protected. There is a little bit of a weight hit with that. You could just take this out and put it in a Ziploc and lose a little bit of the weight. But again, it's the kind of thing that might make it accessible for you, make it more comfortable for you. So worth the weight hit if it's something that helps you get out and do something that you enjoy. So that is an option as part of your poop kit. Okay, let's go through my poop kit. That's ridiculous how much fun this is. All right, on top here I have a roll of doggy bags. Now this is like a garbage bag. Doggy bags are so useful. I just keep them everywhere. They're super cheap. They come in these little rolls and they're just the right size to pack out a little bit of garbage. You should always, whatever you take in, you need to take out. So any paper products, garbage, debris, messes that you make, take it out and do it with this so that you can just drop it at the trailhead in the garbage cans at the trailhead or throw it away as soon as you get home. Always in with my poop kit. Okay, next I have a roll of toilet paper. This was just a mostly used roll that I popped the little cardboard tube out of the middle to flatten it and get it, you know, put it in a Ziploc bag so that it's protected from water and just lightweight, easy to pack. Good stuff. I also have some wet wipes for cleanup. I have a pad for feminine hygiene products. Should be in your poop kit. I have a trowel, and I keep it in the little plastic bag to protect it from everything else in there, and you know, because this can get nasty. Before you go out on a trail, most trailheads have a latrine they have facilities at the trailhead. Start by taking care of that before you go. And then when you're out hiking, you need to make sure that you understand what the rules are around waste disposal. Because some places will have pit toilets that they want you to use along the way. Almost all of them have facilities at the trailhead, all of the organized ones. And they have rules about these things. So you're not always allowed to dig a little cat hole with something like this. Know before you go. Know what the situation is before you go. Some hikes require you to have a wag bag. And a lot of times it's a commercial wag bag. And that is, you take everything out. And I mean everything. So everything goes into this bag and you take it out with you. You don't leave anything out in the forest. So important to understand, what are the rules before you go out? But if you have to dig a cat hole, this is a nice little lightweight trowel that has a little serrated edge for cutting through roots. You need to dig quite a deep hole, like it needs to be as big as this. Nice deep hole. Don't do any of that shallow stuff. No shallow shit for shitting. Edit that out. But it needs to be a nice deep hole to cover up anything. You don't want to leave anything for other people or animals to find. That's not good. Okay, so a nice little trowel, important. I also have a Kulikov in here for dabbing up pee, number one. Some people will hang these on the outsides of their bags for quick access. I just keep mine in my poo kit. I also have this is the soap papers. You just put one on your hand, put a little bit of water on it, and dissolves and suds up, and you can clean your hands with that. Or for less involved things, I have just some antibacterial, and I have some compressed towels. So again, just a little bit of water on one of these will expand it, and these actually get quite large. So this is for large cleanup. And then I just have some, oh, there's an individually wrapped pad, probably safer. And then I have some Ziploc bags because I have a Ziploc bag problem. I have them everywhere. They're super, super useful. But, you know, that's containment as well. You could put your doggy bags in there if you've got a particularly messy situation. Anyway, nice to clean up. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second and put this all back. So another feature of this bag is that it has what's called a brain on it. This is just a zippered section here on the top that is super quick access, either to you or to your hiking partners. You can get in and out of it fairly easily. So this is a place that you keep things that you need to get to on a regular basis. I love a good brain. There's a joke there. All right, so in my brain, I have, here on top, I have this is a mask it's a good breathable mask, filtered mask. These days, the way the wildfires go, you can get into a smoky area suddenly, and it's miserable to be hiking in smoke. So this will help you, especially if you're caught up high up in the mountains and you need to get out and it's smoky. There's not a weight hit to it. It's just nice to have that with you just in cases. And then I have a luxury item in here. This is a set of binoculars. You can also do monoculars to give yourself a little bit less weight. These were super cheap. They're not fancy at all. But especially if I'm going to go someplace that has views or wildlife, I'm willing to take the hit on the weight for this. The profile is still pretty small, but I'm willing to take the hit on the weight for it to make the hike a little more enjoyable. So, and I like to keep those nice and handy. If it's a hike that there's lots of vistas, I might put that on my chest strap, but I like to have it nice and convenient here. I also have a little collapsible bag in here for, if I get my socks wet or get something messy, I can put this in it and not have to put it inside my pack, get my pack all yucky. Now, I have a couple of things in here that I keep in here just because they are smaller items, they're loose items, and I don't want them banging around the rest of my bag. They don't actually fit in my first aid kit. So these are all first aid items, but I just don't want them banging around the rest of my bag. It's just a regular bandage. There is a elasticized bandage. This is a Coban bandage, self-adhering, and then a triangle bandage. So nice and quick access. Okay, let's take this part off. Right, now let's get into the belly of the bag. This only zips down part of the way, but that's great because everything's not going to fall out. Right here in the inside top pocket, there is a zipper, the top section, there's a zippered area. In here, I have a map. And this is also where I'm going to put my compass. I don't currently have a compass. I'm shopping for one right now. So, I kind of have a compass. No, I don't. This is not a compass. This will tell me where north is, but it won't help me read this. So, I'm getting a compass. Very important. I know it's important. I just don't currently have one. But I have a trail map in here for offline. I am going to have where's my phone? I'm going to have my maps on my phone, but the backup, I have a paper map. And then this is also where I put my car keys. Now my car keys this is a security blanket for me. It has a bunch of things on here that I would want to have quick access to. It does have another one of those lights, because I told you, I love those lights. I have some medication in here, just some ibuprofen and Benadryl and just some things. I always have that with me. And then I have on here this little multi-tool type thing. This is Mr. Green. It's got some little clippers on here, but it also has a little nail file bottle opener. It has some scissors. The problem is I don't have my eyes in, so I can't see. Ah, there, see? Little scissors, and it has a little pocket knife on it. So it's a little pocket knife, but this is handy to have. And so I'm just going to keep that whole thing in there, and then when I, get to this, I could pull it apart, but well, why? It's fine. I always have it with me. It's a little bit of a security blanket thing. Okay, so here on the top I have we already went through my puffer jacket, and then this is the clothing items with my rain jacket and my extra socks and mittens and all that stuff in there. I also have a knee brace in here. I have issues with my knees sometimes, and I don't, I have the room for it. I don't want to get caught out on the trail. I could just use a bandage for stability, but this is designed for it. Makes the hike more comfortable so that I don't have swelling or problems when I get back, or if I'm on mile 5 of 10 and I start to hurt. This really helps. So I'm willing to take the weight hit for that. So I have my little snack bag here for when I stop and take breaks. I have ADHD, and so putting things in clear containers is important for me so that I know what's in them. I can just glance at them and see what is in them. I don't have to label it. I can always, just out of sight, out of mind if you have ADHD. So this is really helpful for me. So I have both my water and my food in this bag. Now, if I was doing a longer hike, a day hike, I would pack a lunch. I want to have a meal, an actual meal, not snacks when I'm out at my, halfway point. It's a meal that doesn't require preparation, low sugar, high calorie, high protein, to give me the energy that I need to do the rest of the hike. So that would be a separate thing that I would carry. I'm going to go through my food and water kit. The first thing I'm going to talk about is water, which is a good reminder to take a water break. Have some water. Now, while I have my water bottle, and it was full when I started, I always want to have a backup option with me to filter some water while I'm out and about. Because you never know when you're going to get stuck on the trail, or you're going to run into someone who doesn't have water, and you're going to need more water than you're carrying. So I always keep a method to purify water. So for these longer, more involved hikes, I have a Sawyer Squeeze, and this is the collaboration with Knock. It's a 2-liter water bottle for the dirty water. So you'll scoop the dirty water in here, filter it through your squeeze into your regular bottle, regular water bottle. There's a little coupler to do that with. I also have in here the backwash. So the thing about these is that if you maintain these, they will last for years. It's not that expensive to buy it, but this thing can really pay dividends by keeping it, if you keep it good. So you want to, whatever you get back from your hike after you've used this, you want to flush it back, because you want to clean the filter in here and do it multiple times till it runs clear. And that will extend the life of your Sawyer so much. I mean, there's people who've been using the same Sawyer for years and years and years. So I just keep these together so that I don't get confused about where this thing is and lose this thing. And yeah, it's an awesome little system, nice small profile, but you can get a lot from it with this combination, a lot of water. One thing to note about these is after they've been used, these can freeze. So you want to make sure that this does not freeze, because it's not going to be useful after that. You'll damage it. I wouldn't keep it in your car over the winter, for instance, just if you're in an area that you have potential freezes. I wouldn't do that. And if you're backpacking or you're out in the shoulder seasons, a lot of people will bring these into their sleeping bags with them just to make sure that they don't freeze, because that will shorten the life of it. And they're cheap, but they're not cheap enough to be replacing them all the time. So good combination to have for more serious hikes when you need lots and lots of water. And then, so the other couple of water related things in here, I have my lid for my Migo water bottle. And I also have a different size thread adapter for the drinking straw. So this, let me talk about this water bottle for a second. This is a new product that was brought onto the market by Miranda Webster of Miranda Goes Outside. I love this bottle. Woo, love it. This thing it's the perfect size. It feels great in my hand. It is a squeeze bottle. It's not super squeezy, but it's a squeeze bottle. It has little measurements on the side, so you know how much you've filled it, how much you've drunk of it. It has this cool feature. You can take this whole top off, this whole top. Look at that. So you can clean it, and also you could put electrolytes in there without, trying to fit it into the little tiny hole at the top. It's a standard size, I think it's the 18 thread size, water bottle size. So a lot of these different attachments that you might already have would fit on this bottle. You can also boil water and put it in this. It's also dishwasher safe. So this thing, I actually have a couple of these, and I'm probably gonna get some more. I love that water bottle. Good job, Miranda. All right, let's continue to go through my water food bag. I have a Spork in here, just a little plastic one, just in case I have something like I have some peanut butter in here that I might need to eat. There's no weight hit for it. It's a nice thing to have just in case. You can use it to spread if you have something that you need to spread. Just nice, just in cases. What do you know? She has some more. She has a problem is what she has, but they're baggies, because I love baggies. Here's another one. Oh dear. We're about to have an intervention. I have some honey, some good quick energy. I have some trail mix. I have a protein bar. I made sure that I looked for things that are high in protein, low in sugar, low in fillers. So it's not easy to find. There's so many options out there that are just garbage. It's empty calories. They taste good, but wow, it's not doing a lot for your body. You need something that's going to do good things for your body. I have some fruit snacks in here. These are organic. And then I'm actually just trying to work through these. This is one of those nutrition bars that you put in your emergency kits. These were nearing their expiration date, so I wanted to try to use them up. They're very calorie dense, and they're not, it's not a huge hit. They're not light, but they're good calories. I think they taste good. They're fine. They're, this is good energy, and like I said, I'm just trying to use this up, so I throw it in there, keep it in there. Then the last thing I have in here is a couple of packets of LMNT. This is electrolyte powder. I like how small these packages are. Just really nice to be able to replenish the minerals and things that you're sweating out of your body, and make your hydration actually extend a little further, give your body what it needs. So, and these are delicious. Kind of a little bit of a luxury because they are a little bit more expensive, but I love these, and I love the brand. It's a good brand. Zero sugar. Important. Anyway, so the point of the food and water is to have things that are not gonna be empty calories, that you're gonna enjoy to eat on the trail. They're not gonna create a lot of garbage or have a lot of steps to make or require, heating up, cooking, anything like that. And it's, low sugar, high protein, easy to eat, fun to eat, and don't feed the animals. Don't feed the animals. Get my food kit there. Next thing I have pretty near the top, pretty easy to grab, is what I call my level 1 first aid kit. This is my Ubu kit. This is not for big bleeds, or it's not a trauma kit of any kind. It's a level 1 kit. Now this kit is for lots of different occasions, so I can move it from kit to kit to kit. This thing can go with me, and I know that I've got the basic first aid stuff covered with this kit. I'm going to go through this in a second. The next thing I have down is a little bit heavier. Now the way I pack this thing, I have the less heavy, kind of bulkier things near the top. You don't want to have the weight on your shoulders, because you'll tip over. You know, you want to have your balanced weight. They say to have the most of your weight near the middle of your back and well supported. So I've got a heavier thing that I have right kind of in the middle of the pack. This is my electronics bag and tools. It is a sturdier bag. It's the kind of the one thing that I have that isn't see-through, but I know that this is my electronics bag. So let's talk about what's in my electronics bag. Pretty much all of these are a weight hit, but everything in here is well thought out. It's important to me. So I keep it with me even though it's a weight hit. I have a Chem light. This isn't for light. This is for signaling. It's for, you know, marking your location. A Chem light. Very cheap, very easy to have with you. Next thing I have is, this is my headlight. Headlights are so important in so many situations. I have headlights in pretty much all my kits. This gives you illumination whilst keeping your hands free. It's a task lighter. It's a signal light. This will get you off of a trail if the sun has gone down, or if you're starting a hike and you're doing a sunrise hike, this will get you on the trail early in the morning. There's lots of different brands of these, a huge range of expense for them. You don't need a super fancy one, just get a cheap one. This one is a rechargeable one. There are kinds that are both chargeable and have batteries, so you have some flexibility there. You don't need one that has 50 different settings. If it just has a light, not even levels of light, that's fine too. You should have a headlight. And this is, if you're counting, this is my third light source that I'm carrying with me. Light's important. Don't forget though, I have the cable to charge this light with me. Well, what am I going to charge it with? Well, I'm carrying a power bank. This is a small, compact thing. Yes, it's got some weight to it, but it's worth it. This is worth it weight. This is an Anker brand. It's a great brand. It comes with the cable. This is it's a USB-C cable, which all my devices are USB-C or USB. It has those as well, the ports for USB and USB-C on it. So it comes with the cable that it needs. This will give me a couple of full charges of my cell phone or my light. When I have my Garmin, it will help me charge my Garmin. This is an important thing to have. Remember that your phone is a tool and can be an emergency tool for you. So to be able to charge your phone is not inconsequential. So I have that with me. And this one I actually move from kit to kit to kit too, because I only have one of them. But, when I get rich, I'll get more of them. But it's important to have. And then I have a fourth light. Maybe I have a problem. This is just a battery operated light. Right now I have it plugged in just to show you, but normally when I store this, I'll store it with the batteries turned backwards, and that way I don't accidentally burn through the batteries in here, but they're still available compact inside of it when I need to use it. So I just turn them around if I need to use that. If I go through my other 3 lights and I need another light, I got a light. I got another light. I have a Heroclip in here if I need to hang something up. you know, maybe I need something to dry, just a little Heroclip has a carabiner. This is the small size. They have multiple sizes of them, but these are nice. Love them. A little bit expensive, but you know, you can get cheap ones, but it's nice to have. And then the last thing I have in here is a pocket knife. This is just a simple pocket knife. There's lots of different brands out there. There's really cheap ones that are actually very, very good. Just remember with your pocket knives, you might throw in a sharpener, or just make sure that they're sharpened, because a dull knife is worse than not having a knife in some situations. So, but it's nice. There's lots of reasons to have a knife for your safety. Knives are important, and I'm scared of knives. I'm scared of knives, and I have worked for years to get over that, to learn how to use them, how to be safe with them, because they're that important. So knives are important. All right, let me pack this up and then we'll move on. All right. Moving on. All right, have a garbage bag for trail cleanup, or I don't know, just a garbage bag. I carry either a Mylar safety blanket, emergency blanket, or this one is actually an emergency sleeping bag. So it's the same material as an emergency blanket, but you can actually get inside of it, like a bivy sack. It is a bivy sack. A bivy sack is a type of emergency sleeping bag. But this is big enough that I can get my whole body in it, and it will help me if I'm caught on the trail. It will keep my body at a safe temperature. They're very thin. They're pretty much one and done. You don't really use them multiple times, but super cheap, low profile, good thing to keep on your person. And there's, you know, bivy sacks that get down to really, really small. It's more expensive. This is cheaper. And it's an emergency thing. Hopefully I will never need that, but if I do need it, I want to have it. Now, hiking. One of the things that gets injured a lot are your feet and ankles, your legs. So I have a SAM splint. This is the big one. This is a 36-inch one for if I need to immobilize my leg, if I need to stabilize my leg or someone else's leg. The way you use these, it's a moldable aluminum inside of it. So whatever leg that is not injured, you mold it to that leg and then move it to the injured leg, and then you'll use your bandages to secure it in place nice and tight. But this can get you off of a hike more safely. So, SAM splint. And it's a little bit of a profile hit, not a big weight hit. This thing is super light, so worth carrying. And they make lots of different sizes of them. I'm only carrying one, so I'm gonna carry the biggest one that I might need, and legs and feet. That's the thing that you're gonna get hurt. Also, this is a little bit of a weight hit and a profile hit, but it has a cold compress thing in it. So these things, when you crack them, they're one use only. So if I just was to throw this in my bag, then this would run the risk of getting activated, and then when I went to use it, it was already used and it wouldn't be useful anymore. So why am I carrying it? So I put it in this hard shell case to protect it from accidental usage. I also have in here just some hot hands, little hotties. These, you open them up and expose them to the air. They're also one and done, but they have a really long life. And these things, stick them in your gloves or in your pockets. These can also save your life. So I have those two things together, and this is a waterproof case, but I didn't put them in here because they're waterproof. I put it in here because it's a hard shell case. So a small hard shell case, they're a little bit too big for, I found the soap boxes, the little soap boxes that you get. So I needed to get something just a little bit bigger, but a cold compress on a sprained ankle can really, really help. So that's why I have that. Another Ziploc bag. I really do have a problem. I have some nylon cord. You can do paracord too. I happen to have this for cordage. And I have a contractor bag. These are super thick garbage bags that you can use. You could use it as a tarp to lay it out on the ground, or you can use it as a pack liner. So if it starts to rain, you know, I've got my little pack cover, but it's not super strong. But I can open this up, put everything inside of this, put it inside my pack, and that can be a pack liner. And I guess this garbage bag could also work that way and be a backup, but I've got a couple of different options for fighting the rain, fighting the mess. Next I have this is my level 2 first aid kit. So I have my level 1 that is just your boo-boo kit. This is a little more advanced wound care. So a little more advanced bleeding, I mean mainly bleeding in here. So I'm going to go through these two things together. So we'll talk about that in a second. Okay. And then I have this, I call this my admin bag. Again, notice it's clear. I can see into it. This is kind of all of the everything else bag. This is my sundries bag. So we are gonna go through that. Let me move this aside. Give me some room. Okay. I have another emergency blanket. This one's super compact, super cheap, nice to have. I have a roll of Tenacious tape for kit repairs, I have a collapsible brush, but I don't have it really for the brush part, because clearly I don't care. I have it for the mirror part. It's a little protected mirror here. You can do a safety mirror. I just happen to have these, so double duty. Nice and compact, and you use a mirror to do signaling. I have a little bit of bank cord. This stuff is really super, it's lightweight, it's very useful, it's very strong. You can unwind the threads, you know, unwind it and use them individually, or it's just a really good, strong thing. Strong cordage. I have a bug net because bugs will ruin a hike. You're hiking along and you run through a mating swarm of gnats that just mosquitoes, bugs, little bugs can ruin. This is cheap, this is lightweight, it is compact, you know, packable, and this will, you just throw it over your head and now you can continue on with your hike, and just, it will save your sanity. Very useful, very, very useful. I have some sunscreen for reapplication. This is mostly for facial sunscreen, just a little sunscreen bar. Now, I have, this is a little, it's for perfume, but I have this in here for water, for heat exhaustion and heat emergencies can be a common thing out on the trail. And you just put a little bit of water in this and spray yourself and it can start to cool you down. This in combination with, I have a fan that this can go, a handheld fan that this can go with. It just doesn't fit in there, but that combination is really nice, useful. Some wet wipes, individually wrapped wet wipes. Some insect repellent, the single-use insect repellent towelette. Have some more hand warmers. Remember, when you use these things, when you get back home, you need to refresh them. Okay, always refresh. I have a weather-resistant notebook for sketching, but also it works in conjunction with your first aid stuff, so you can keep notes. If someone's hurt, you can keep notes on what their symptoms were, what the timing was of everything, what was done for them. Just important, but you know, get out there and sketch, and lots of reasons, or leave notes on the trail for other hikers. Good reasons to have that. And then to do that, I have a mechanical pencil, I have just a regular, this little mini pen, and I have marker. Now, permanent markers are good in first aid as well, because if you get a bite, you can mark around where the swelling is to see if it continues to swell, but you can leave notes on the trail, leave no trace. And then I have another pen, but mostly I have this because I have some Leukotape for blister care wrapped around it. And then I have a couple of different size of Ranger bands, elastic bands. And then this is my little fire kit. Fire is one of the 10 essentials, hiking 10 essentials. And I have multiple ways to make fire with me. Fire, you know, a cold emergency can get real serious real fast. So if you can make a fire, you should have the means to make a fire, because that'll save your life. That could save your life. The backup one is I have a Fresnel lens for focused light, sunlight. You can make a fire with that. That takes some practice learning how to do, but there's no weight gain for it. It's a super small profile. It's a great backup. My second level backup is a ferro rod that has some paracord with it. Paracord can burn. That can be part of your tinder setup. This one actually has a whistle on it. I told you, whistles everywhere. But these take practice, so learn how to use them. They do take practice, and they can be frustrating. So you don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing that. Learn how to use them. But it's a good way. My first level is a Bic lighter. Just have a little mini Bic lighter here. Actually has some self-amalgamating tape wrapped around it for repairs. And I also have some water-resistant or waterproof fire plugs on here for your tinder to help you start your fire. And one of the things that I want to add is I don't currently have, I'm not carrying some tinder. I probably will add some fat wood or something to burn. I don't currently have that. But, you know, these kits are ever evolving. We're always adding to them, taking away from them. Just, you're always working on your kits. So that's a thing. Now that we've gone through the main contents of this big bag here, in the next video, we're going to break down those 2 first aid kits, and so you can see what's inside of each of those first aid kits. And then we're going to step down to a slightly less involved hike, and then even again to an even slightly less involved, shorter hike, and see what I would change about this big bag as I'm stepping down to those. And then finally, we're going to go through a post-hike assessment and talk about the kinds of things that you do after a hike to get ready for the next hike. Anyway, see you in the next video.